In the heart of a town where everyone knows your name, lies can fester in the shadows, silent, insidious, and shattering. Laura Thorne's life was a carefully frosted cake. Sweet, perfect layers of family, community acclaim, and her famous vanilla chocolate swirl cupcakes. But beneath the glossy icing lay a rot she could never have imagined until betrayal struck in the silent hours, unraveling everything she believed about trust, love, and herself. In Silent Betrayal, discover how a sleepy Midwestern town's idyllic facade masks deep-seated deceptions, a secret romance rekindled by a hometown friend, financial chicanery disguised as long hours, and a woman's astonishing rise from small town tragedy to triumphant rebirth. If you crave a story steeped in lies, revenge, and the power of resilience, follow Laura on her journey beyond heartbreak and into the sweetness of justice. Laura Sinclair had never imagined running a business when she first moved to Cedar Falls. She was a school teacher by day and a hobbyist baker by night, whipping up chocolate ganaches in her cramped kitchen to soothe the stress of lesson plans. But when her husband, Matt Thorne, suggested they open a bakery, she hesitated only for a heartbeat. They pooled their savings and converted the old corner cafe on Main Street into Thorne's Sweet Haven. From day one, the community embraced Laura's confections, her signature red velvet cupcake, moist, velvety cake crowned with tangy cream cheese frosting, sold out every morning by 9. She introduced seasonal specials, lavender honey eclairs in spring, maple pecan tarts in autumn. Matt handled the books, charm of a hometown boy winning over the landlord and chasing down delinquent accounts. By their 5th anniversary, they had 2 young children, Ella, age 7, and Noah, age 5, and the bakery had become the town's heart. Their mornings began at dawn. Laura and Matt shared coffee on the back porch before the world awoke, reviewing orders and swapping smiles over rising dough. Neighbors stopped by for cinnamon buns and shooting the breeze. On Tuesday nights, Matt coached the boys' Little League team. Thursday nights, Laura taught a cupcake decorating class to community center seniors. Life was full, rich, and blooming. Cedar Falls thrived on appearances, well-kept lawns, PTA bake sales, and Sunday church socials. Laura loved it here. She and Matt hosted block parties, donated gift baskets to local charities, and cultivated an image of the town's ideal couple. But on an overcast Tuesday afternoon, a letter arrived that would change everything. Out-of-town envelopes rarely appeared in Laura's mailbox. Bills, supply catalogs, taxes, those she expected, but this envelope, pale dove gray with her maiden name penned in familiar script, felt like a whisper from the past. She opened it in the kitchen, flour-dusted fingertips trembling. Inside was a handwritten note from Melanie Hart, high school friend and one-time best confidant. Melanie had left Cedar Falls 10 years prior to chase New York's bright lights, and success seemed to have found her. She wrote of an art exhibit opening, of children growing up, and of how she longed to come home. The note ended. "I'll be there next Friday. Hope we can catch up. M." Laura reread the words, her stomach fluttering. Melanie and she had been inseparable in high school. Lip-sync duets at talent shows, secrets shared beneath crescent moon nights, tear-stained letters when Melanie left for college. Their paths diverged. Laura found love and a community. Melanie found the city's roar and its hardships. But always Laura had hoped they'd reunite. When Friday came, Laura painted her nails a soft lavender and styled her hair in loose waves. Matt kissed her cheek and slipped into his accountant's blazer. "Be safe," he said. They met at the bakery's side door, and Laura's breath caught. Melanie stood framed by the afternoon sun, hair the color of coal, eyes sparkling with restless ambition. She wore a tailored coat and understated jewelry from a boutique that seemed miles away from Cedar Falls's Main Street chatter. "Laura," she whispered, pulling her friend into a tight hug. "Melanie," Laura choked out, "it's so good to see you." They talked over coffee and lemon tarts, laughter bubbling like yeast. Laura marveled at Melanie's successes. A boutique gallery popped up downtown, promising local artisans a showcase. Melanie urged Laura to visit. Laura hesitated only briefly, Mall art fairs didn't pique her interest, but for the sake of friendship, she agreed. Little did Laura know as she closed the door behind Melanie's departing cab that a seed of longing and darker temptations had been planted in her marriage. Melanie's boutique, Heart and Home, opened with fanfare 3 weeks later, ribbon cutting under rose window awnings, a social media blitz celebrating the hometown girl come back to claim her creative throne. Laura stood front and center, beaming for her friend, while Matt hovered uneasily at Melanie's elbow. Laura spotted Matt slip in outside for fresh air and found him leaning against the storefront. Good showing? Laura teased. Matt mustered a smile. She's doing well. You should be proud. Laura studied him. He seemed strained. When she opened the bakery's ledger that evening, she found multiple ATM withdrawals, $500 here, $700 there, undocumented and unexplained. First, she blamed oversight or runaway supply costs. But then she saw a new line in Melanie's gallery books: secret supply chain, confidential vendor. Laura's recipe for her best-selling prosciutto fig croissant had been sold under Heart and Home's private menu as Cedar Falls signature. Panic surged. She cornered Matt as he left for the league game. Why are funds missing? And why is Melanie selling my recipe? His eyes flicked sideways. I'm managing extra shifts at night, inventory, deliveries, to help with expenses. Laura's heart twisted. Then why didn't you tell me? And why did Melanie say she's sourcing ingredients from New York? He seized her shoulders. I'm doing this for our future. You need to trust me. At home, Laura lay awake, mind racing. Every fan at the league game, every neighbor's praising glance now felt like betrayal. She resolved to uncover the truth, no matter how dark. Word spread through Cedar Falls faster than icing on a cupcake. Rumors of Laura's obsessive paranoia filled church basements and PTA meetings. Local mom bloggers whispered that Laura had lost her edge and couldn't handle success. The bakery's morning line began to thin. At Sunday potluck, Mrs. Hastings cornered Laura by the coffee urn. Dear, I hear you're making waves. You might need to breathe before stirring trouble. Laura forced a polite smile. Inside, though, her carefully curated world crumbled. Matt's evening absences grew more frequent. He returned with faint perfume on his collar, jasmine noir, not bakery vanilla. One night, Laura trailed him down Elm Street, slipping behind his truck as he met a woman under a street lamp. Soft laughter, glass clinked. The woman, Melanie, her silhouette defined by the boutique's neon sign. They embraced. Laura's chest tightened. Betrayal's arrow struck true. Back at the bakery, she confronted Melanie alone among the ribbons of buttercream. Why are you with him? Laura's voice was low and ragged. Melanie's eyes shone. We've never stopped loving each other. You always had the safe life. I chose passion. Laura staggered. Melanie's betrayal cut deep. Her former best friend, her husband, now co-conspirators. The morning after the confrontation, Laura filed for divorce. She posted a short note on the bakery door. Closed until further notice, thank you for your support. Isabella and Mateo watched with wide eyes. Matt arrived at the bakery, discovering the sign. You can't do this, he began. She slid him a stamped envelope. Divorce petition. Her voice trembled with icy conviction. Done. That afternoon, the bakery counters stood empty, the ovens cold. Word got out. Thorne's Sweet Haven was shuttered by scandal. Matt wasted no time, signing papers that transferred full ownership to himself, claiming Laura was too unstable to manage. Laura watched him leave, daisies in his hand for a deserted shop window. The air tasted of acrid betrayal. Penniless and shunned, Laura retreated to her mother's basement apartment. Ella and Noah sank into couch cushions, mouths agape. The world had leered at them in school, but when Laura locked herself in the tiny kitchen and began to bake on a borrowed oven, something stirred, the old thrill of creation. Her mother, Rosa, entered with flour-dusted hands. You were born to bake, mihija. Don't let them steal that from you. Laura nodded, sifting cocoa with renewed purpose. News of a rising outsider baker, Sofia Marquez, reached Laura. Sofia's rustic pies sold out sidewalk tables, word-of-mouth magic. Laura reached out, offering to help with frosting. Sofia tested Laura's vanilla recipe and smiled. This is your gift. The town needs it. They formed Marquez and Thorne Patisserie, setting up a food truck at the farmer's market. Lines wound around the block. When locals bit into Laura's revamped swirl cupcake, their eyes lit with recognition and relief. Word spread. A local TV segment featured Laura's comeback, from scandal to sweet success. The lines at Matt's bakery next door shrank as Marquez and Thorne thrived. With Marquez and Thorne Patisserie thriving, Laura felt a renewed sense of purpose. Yet the memory of Matt's betrayal lingered like a burnt crust. Sofia suggested they test a bold new concept, a pop-up bakery inside the annual Cedar Harvest Festival, a marquee event where every vendor competed for the coveted Golden Apple Award. Laura spent days perfecting a new cupcake, caramel apple delight, tart apple compote swirled into tender cake, crowned with salted caramel buttercream and candied pecans. When festival day arrived, Marquez and Thorne set up a crisp white tent beside Thorne's Sweet Haven, now run by a surly manager hired by Matt. By morning, Marquez and Thorne's line snaked around the fairgrounds. Children tugged their parents, critics scribbled notes. When festival judges made their rounds, they paused before Laura's stand, sampling miniature cupcakes in hushed reverence. At noon, the announcer took the stage. Golden Apple Award for Best Treat goes to Marquez and Thorne Patisserie. The crowd erupted. Sofia hugged Laura, tears of joy mingling with the festival's sweet air. Across the path, Matt watched, face pale. His bakery's pumpkin spice muffins, once a customer favorite, sat untouched. His manager tried to rally support, but whispers of Laura's comeback drowned out the plea. Laura realized revenge needed no dramatic spectacle. Her creation spoke volumes. The town's silent shift in loyalty filled her with bittersweet triumph. Matt, humiliated by defeat, lashed out. He leaked old invoices suggesting Laura had used festival funds to pay off personal debts. Posters accusing Laura of misusing community donations surfaced overnight across Main Street. At dawn, Laura discovered them pinned to the bakery's food truck. Sofia arrived outraged. "Where did this come from?" she demanded. Laura turned pale, recalling a stack of unfiled receipts she'd left in Matt's bookkeeping folder. She confronted him via text. "Stop this, Matt. This will ruin me." Matt replied, "I'm protecting our reputation. You do the same." Laura knew better. This was borderless ambition. She reached out to the town council and presented bank statements in a public hearing, demonstrating every penny of festival proceeds had funded youth scholarships. The hearing's live stream garnered thousands of views as townsfolk watched in real time. By evening, the council cleared her of wrongdoing and fined Matt's bakery for false advertising and slander. Local news reported Thorne cleared sweet justice for patisserie co-founder. Laura felt vindicated, but the cost remained. Her trust in marriage lay in ruins. As autumn deepened, Laura focused on restoring not just her reputation, but her family's bonds. She converted the basement of Sofia's home into a teaching kitchen, inviting neighborhood kids for weekend baking classes, renewing her love of education. Isabel and Mateo flourished. Ella won a junior baking contest with Laura's guidance. Noah found joy in decorating cookies for charity drives. Laura and her children laughed over spilled flour and mismatched sprinkles. The bakery's success was sweeter when shared. Meanwhile, Matt's bakery floundered. His boutique cupcakes lacked authenticity. Sales evaporated. He tried to reconcile with Laura, sending apology notes, flowers, and promises, but she declined, noting, "Trust cannot be baked anew." In late November, Marquez and Thorne opened a permanent cafe next door to the original bakery. A shared sign read, "From ashes to icing, a new chapter." At opening night, the mayor cut the ribbon, declaring the cafe a testament to resilience. Laura raised her champagne flute, "To new beginnings and honest hearts." Sofia and the children cheered, and for the first time, Laura felt whole. The following spring, Cedar Falls celebrated its bicentennial anniversary. In the sprawling park, Laura unveiled a memorial bench engraved, "Baked with Love by Laura Thorne for all generations." At the dedication, community members shared stories: how Laura's treats had sweetened first dates, healed broken hearts, and built friendships. An elderly couple credited her cookies with saving their son's funeral reception from gloom. Teenagers praised her for hosting life skills workshops that taught more than frosting techniques. Matt watched from the crowd, older, defeated, clutching a single red rose. He approached Laura quietly. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Laura studied him, her heart calm as tender dough. She gently closed his hand around the rose. "I forgive you," she said, "but this bench is for everyone who believes in second chances, including you." He nodded, tears glinting. As they stood beneath blossoming dogwood trees, Laura felt the final weight of betrayal lift. In a town once plagued by silent lies, she had baked a legacy of honesty, one recipe at a time.